Hi kids, Jungle Jan here. Chapter 3, we meet the king. Cora and Flora stood at the edge of the rope bridge, breathing deeply. The breeze stirred Flora's pink hair and made the bridge sway a little, creaking as it did so. Do you think it's safe? Asked Flora. Well, think what we've learned so far. The great king is saviour and judge, holy and approachable. Do you think a king like that would make a path you can't follow? Replied Cora. Let's do it. Taking a deep breath, she checked her hat was firmly on her head and stepped onto the bridge, which moved under her feet. Oh, hold on! Every step they took, the bridge swayed and shivered. They could see the ravine between the slats under their feet. It was all a bit scary, to be honest. As they reached the other side, they had to climb a bit up the slope of the bridge until they reached solid land. What was that the eagle said? Keep your eyes higher, look up there. Is that a natural rock formation through the branches or brickwork? She asked Flora. What? I can't see anything. Flora turned to look. Lift your eyes higher. This is the eyes higher jungle after all, chuckled Cora. It's a tower! We must be nearly there. Excitedly, the two friends moved forward into the jungle. I can't see the towers now, said Flora. Just keep looking up, said Cora, and mind where you step. Plunging into the undergrowth, the intrepid pair forced their way towards the buildings. They could hear excited whooping through the trees and finally saw a paved road under their feet. They must be nearly there. Following the cracked and slippery cobbles, they found their way into a huge plaza. The buildings on each side were covered in vines. Roofs had fallen in and huge blocks of stone lay across the roadway. Either side of the road there were immense statues holding spears. Many of them had lost arms or heads. Well, this is not what I expected from the Temple of the King of the Jungle, said Flora. Let's keep going, added Cora. The noises seemed to be coming from ahead. The whooping had turned into yelling and cheering and a rhythmic thumping. A bit like a football match was going on. They crept up to the corner of the building and peeked around. A giant silverback gorilla was standing on his hind legs, beating his chest, surrounded by a horde of other apes who were leaping and screaming all at the same time. The animals were working themselves into a frenzy. Suddenly, one of them spotted Cora and Flora and they yelled and loped towards them. Oh dear, this could be difficult. Surrounded by the apes, they were pushed and prodded until they were in front of the great gorilla. He held up his strong arms and waited for silence. Good morning. We're looking for the king of the jungle who lives in the temple. At this, a huge shrieking and squalling, a hollering and a howling came from the assembly, and they all pointed at the great ape. I see I am known, said the ape in a deep voice. Around you here, see my temple, glorious and strong. See my statues, testimony to my majesty. Listen to the cries of my people. At this, the apes went into another great shout, hooting and yelling so loud Cora and Flora put their hands over their ears. Forgive me, O king, said Flora, but isn't the place a bit run down? That's how I want it to be, replied the gorilla. You think I can't rebuild it if I wanted to? I can do anything. Yes, he can! Yes, he can! Shrieked all the other apes. He can do anything! The gorilla nodded his head wisely, listening to the voices of his people. Cora replied, Well, we are looking for the great king. And again she was interrupted by the bawling and calling of the apes, who is also known as merciful and mighty, but who has great strength and shows gentleness. Ridiculous, said the great ape. My people know I'm big and mighty. I can tear down trees, I can knock down buildings, I can make people do what I want. I live in this jungle, of course I'm king of the jungle. Why would I be merciful to my subjects? They should be glad to be my subjects. How do I get out of this? Whispered Flora to Cora. This isn't the king we're looking for. He's just puffed up with pride. This doesn't feel right. Leave it to me, said Cora. Oh, mighty one! We have travelled many kilometres to find the king of the jungle. Please give us leave to explore your magnificent temple. It pleases me to do so, said the ape, his ego being puffed up even more by Cora's seeming submission to his authority. Thank you. They walked around the huge square, picking their way over the ruins and heading to the opposite side, trying not to look like they were attempting to escape from the troop of apes. The silverback was so puffed up in his own dignity he didn't see them slip into the jungle and pick up the path again on the other side of the ruins. Phew, said Flora. That was a bit hairy. Ha ha! You get it? Hairy! Come on, replied Cora. He was obviously not the king. He's never heard of the idea of a king being merciful and kind. We must be getting close soon, though. The sounds of the apes faded into the distance as they trudged on through the jungle.